Yes, sir. All right? That's how you do it.
When we're at the senatorial convention, and I don't know whether that'll be the same at the state convention or not, but there were several of us there who had more than one vote. There was one lady there who had some
27,
votes.
and she couldn't
27.
Right.
And I was sitting there with 2.6, as were the other people from my precinct. And when the issue came up that she wanted a roll call vote, it was a majority vote in that room whether to do a roll call vote, but that wasn't a majority of the votes represented.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, I'm going to restate your question, and you tell me if I stated it incorrectly.
Okay.
At the district convention, there were some people who had more than one vote. How do they have more than one vote? The election code allows you to cast votes that you're legally entitled to. If you're given a precinct cast 27 votes that are allocated, you got 27 delegates to the district convention. If you're the only one that shows up, you have a right to cast 27 votes. Now his question was, we had a majority vote, but how do you cast your votes when you got a majority, when you got 27, but yet you had a majority vote to have a roll call vote, and it failed? The supplemental rules that we adopted said we would have a voice vote unless there was a roll call as per the Republican Party of Texas rules. The Republican Party of Texas rules call for a roll call vote under 3 circumstances. 1, a majority vote of the convention. 2,
Hold it. A majority vote?
A voice vote.
Under 3 conditions.
Yeah, you're getting into a chicken and egg concept.
Okay.
Remember, it's a voice vote. A voice vote to have a majority vote to have a roll call vote.
Okay.
You can also have a roll call vote if 20% of the precinct's president sign a petition saying, on this question, we want a roll call vote. Or the third one is if the chairman had himself or herself calls for a roll call. Now, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I don't think it's right, but it answers the question.
Okay, all right.
I mean, because the reality is there were probably 30 people in that room that had, at least, that had multiple votes.
Oh, there were many people that had multiple votes.
And those people were not properly represented in a voice vote.
Those people were properly represented in a voice vote. In a voice vote, you have a voice vote. If you want to cast your ballot, you've got to have a roll call. Okay?
It might be simpler to comprehend this. On a voice vote, a chairman with a quick gavel is going to call it one way or another, not necessarily the right way. How does a delegate move or demand the division of the House?
All right, I will get into that. It's a good question. And that's hand in hand with the next topic I'm going to cover, which is appeal.
Well, I'm sure the gentleman's question has not really been answered yet.
No, I understand
I think
his
he's
question.
fixing to answer it now.
Yeah, I'm going to get into it. All right, on the appeal, let me cover that very quickly. The chair makes a ruling. For example, there's a motion before the body. Someone makes an amendment. And so you believe the amendment is out of order. So somebody rises to a what? Point of order, right? They're going to say, point of order, Mr. Chairman, the amendment is not in order. The chair has to make a ruling on that point of order, whether it's well taken or not. Or the chair has the option to turn it over to the body. Assume the chair rules that the point of order is well taken, that the amendment is not germane and it is not in order. The individual who made the motion to amend believes it is germane. What does that person do? That person, the chair made a ruling, that person stands up and, Mr. Chairman, I appeal your ruling. If there is a second to the appeal, then the ruling goes to the body, whether or not the particular amendment is germane or not. Remember, I also said the chair can, on his or her own authority, basically just jump to the appeal process itself and just say, I'll let the body decide whether or not this motion is germane or not. Assume there is a voice vote. Now I'm going to get to Larry's question and we'll see if it covers yours.
Okay.
You have one on the appeal?
Well, I was only going to ask you, does the appeal then get a voice vote? Or
Okay, I'll get, this may answer when I get to the
All right.
All right, there is a given vote on a motion. It's a voice vote. And chair rules the ayes have it. And you're sitting out there, you voted no, and you think the noes have it. Upon the demand of one member can stand up saying, Mr. Chairman, I call for a division. All right, what is a division? A division is frequently misunderstood. Most people believe a division is a rising counted vote, and it is not. A division is, all in favor, please rise. Thank you, be seated. All opposed, please rise. Thank you, be seated. The ayes have it. That is a division. Upon one person's demand, a division must be had. Obviously, if it's overwhelmingly one way or another by the voice vote, the chair can rule a division to be dilatory. Somebody's just mad when they're being loser. But that's the division. Now let's say, wait a minute, I still don't think it's right. I still think the chair got the call wrong. What do you do now? Now you can move to have a roll call vote. You can also move to have a rising counted vote. Now let's assume just for a minute we're not in the convention format, one person, one vote. You move to have a rising counted vote. That is, it requires a second, it's not debatable, it requires a majority vote. If that happens, then you say, all those in favor, please rise, and they take the count. Thank you, be seated. All opposed, please rise, they take the count, be seated. Then they give the voting results. You can also do the same thing, I'll vote by ballot. There's a second, undebatable. Vote is adopted by majority vote, the vote's by ballot.
Are those ballots divided by how many votes each person has?
The ballots really haven't been. The only way that by custom, in the Republican Party, the only way you count that more than one vote is if you have a roll call vote. A roll call vote, if you have a roll call vote, Mr. Chairman, I move we have a roll call vote on this issue. There's a second, again, not debatable, and you have a vote whether or not you have a roll call vote. If you have a roll call vote, the secretary will come up to the front. Precinct number 1, you have 27 votes. The lady up front says, I vote 27 votes, aye. 27 votes written up. Precinct number 2, you have 15 votes, and you just go right on down the list. And that's how, by custom, the full voting strength of your particular precinct's been counted.